Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I want to talk to my chosen ones about the statement, the Creator forced you into isolation. Yes, this is very true to the ones that's following the Creator, following Source, God, Allah. But for the ones who are not following the Creator, the Source, you know what I mean, they were forced into isolation due to the witchy team in charge and the way they have everything structured right now. I keep hearing this statement thrown around a lot because all of us are having to isolate to some sort of degree, you know. But I see a lot of people on demon time keep saying, my God forced me into isolation to learn. My God forced me into, you know, to sit by myself so I can elevate. Everyone does not elevate from isolation. I don't know where this came from. Do you know how many children don't have siblings and they are in isolation, but you don't see some of them moving in an elevated space due to, you know, their caregivers, the ones that they have around them that's providing and supposed to be taking care of them, have their best interests at heart? That is not always the case, you know. It's almost like the Creator rewards his followers or the followers, and then the other team sees what's going on and be like, yeah, well, me too. This is not the Me Too movement. Unless you're moving with Source, your isolation will not be for the same reasons or causes. I have never seen any of these demons go into isolation and come out a better being than what they was. I've never seen it. I've seen people and demons and beings go into isolation and then they may level up a couple or make some adjustments in the physical world, meaning somebody was making $10, now they're making 12, you know. Somebody had a small house, now they got a bigger house. Someone didn't have a house, now they have a space. See, these things, we cannot call these things elevation because we're already given all the tools we needed out here. So if we're only looking at what's happening in this physical world as a level up, then it would explain why a lot of people are not leveling up. Most people are trying to compensate with this physical world. They need more toys, more items, more materials, and to them, that's a level up. But your real level up, if you get isolated by Source and the Creator, you are going to have, if you ever seen like the Scrabble words, not even the Scrabble, the word searches. I used to do the word searches. It's almost like the demon team got these amount of words on their word search, you know, and they have them in a certain order. But then you got Source have these certain words. It don't have to be words. We're just using words right now. I already understand, like, we know how to communicate with babies and we don't even speak the same language. You know, we understand vibrations. But it's like our list of words is flipped. We got the same words, but we're moving them around as far as how they are. You know what I mean? So as far as like, small example, respect for us, let's say it's like number 2 or 3 on our list. You know what I mean? Respect for them will probably be like they're 9 or 10. It's gonna be an opposite and reversal. But it's always weird hearing beings out here talking about something I had to isolate, or I'm in isolation because the Creator is lining something up better for me. But you're not even doing anything showing that you're moving with Source, you know? You're not doing anything bigger or better for the community. You're not doing anything bigger and better for the ones around you. You know what I mean? It's all these weird things because they are allowed to use words. And words are spells and spells are real. They're allowed to flow with this dialogue. For me, my understanding is too deep and I comprehend way too well to sit back and see a feminine man talking about something. Yeah, God aligned me. He wanted me to be isolated. Like, bro, you ain't even moving in your full masculinity. The system shut down right now. You don't even know the things that you're supposed to do to protect and provide for yourself or the people around you. You don't even know how to join a community and tribe and become an asset to them. Not saying all, but a lot of them that's in that weird space, they're far away from source. You're not going to get close to the source by doing the opposite of what source has put down here in this realm. I seen one comment say that we don't have roles. We're just out here living and being, or some weird stuff. That's like a short, simple form of what I had saw down in the comments. I was just thinking to myself, I go out in nature every day and they have rules. I can hear the bugs, the June bugs, birds, everybody out here doing their thing. Soon as the sun goes down, you don't see one bird outside. The birds understand the laws and the rules. If they don't want to become food for another deity, they should go take their butts and their feathers inside somewhere, or in a safer space where the creatures of the night cannot access them. You see bats outside at nighttime, but you do not see birds out. You see multiple birds out, more than the average, as is becoming like when the sun starts to set. If you out in nature enough, you'll understand. When the sun starts setting, it's like all the birds is out trying to get their last little bit of fly on, get their last little bit of food, snacks, whatever they're going to do to take back to the nest and call it a night. And you don't see the birds again until the sun is up. This is technically how we're supposed to be operating, but we follow this demonic structure and we're going to sleep long past before, after it's dark outside. We're getting up long after the sun has already been up already. So we're already starting our day behind. So when you start hearing people talking about I have to isolate, I was forced into isolation, Creator moved me here to isolation, you have to look at their walk of life. That's even if you care. You may not even care to comprehend or to dive in deeper into other people's spaces. But if you plan on helping people out here and having more of a role and being more of an impact, then a lot of these things you need to learn and you need to know and understand. Because it is a lot of witchcraft out here. You have witchcraft up here, and just for layman's terms, y'all know I don't follow any religions. Let's say we got the Bible and we got the Quran down here. You know what I mean? I don't have to follow this to know that this is more righteous than what this is right here. It should be flipped. This should be up. This should be minimum. We're always going to have people operating in that weird witchy energy. But it shouldn't be the masses operating in between that space. When you feel like you got to lie, manipulate, when you got to deceive, when you have to use all these other tactics in order to either get your way or to maintain power, you are upholding and upkeeping this witchcraft that's going on out here right now. When they shut the system down and you have to see source in the Creator, you're going to wish you never took that road. And the only way to compensate for walking that weird ass witchy life is you have to overdo, you have to overcompensate. You don't just go have a talk with the Creator and be like, oh yeah, I'm forgiven and that's it. You only do a couple things here, a couple things there. That's not how it works. Because your trail of witchcraft has been too long. So now you got to clean up your mess. Then you have to compensate for your mess. A lot of beings ain't trying to put that work in, and they feeling more godly or like they're more righteous when they're saying like, my God, and he put me in this isolation so I can, learn me and figure me out and do all this other shit. It's a lot of people that go into isolation and they crash out. They burn out. I don't know why beings feel as though elevation is connected to isolation. if I want to lift more weights, which I don't care for lifting weights, you know, I like calisthenics. I would be able to lift more weights with another person there spotting me than me just sitting there lifting weights, isolated, solo, by myself. I could lift more weights each week because I could add a little bit more, and I make sure that I'm doing, you know, a little bit more than what I did. So if one week I did 135 on the bench bar, that's just minimal. The next week I could bump it up to 140, you know, 150. I could do these things solo. But if I want to push myself and rep up harder and faster, it makes more sense that I have another being right there to spot me, to hold me down, to look out for me while I'm doing these things. You know, we grow a lot. We learn a lot from being around other people and other beings. You know, you learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about others. And for me, when I isolate, or when I've dealt with isolation, it forces me to master I don't want to say like demons, because I don't really have those. What I have is, because we're in Western society, we have so many choices. We have vices. I have vices that it makes me master, it makes me pay attention to. Like, okay, say I isolated for like 2-3 weeks, unintentionally, intentionally, I would be like, oh, by end of the week or going on week 2, I'm like, damn, you need to be getting 1, 2, 3 things done right here, or at least taking small steps to these things right here. Because there's no one else around to point the finger at besides myself. And a lot of beings in today's society are not big on accountability. You know what I mean? But just be mindful and keep these things in mind. Like, just because you go into an isolation space, you also have to process what kind of work are you doing for source. You know, we all are working on ourselves to a degree. So everybody use this cop-out ass answer. Oh, I'm working on me. The fuck are you working on? What are you actually working on? How not to communicate with people, how to not engage with people, how to not put as much food into your mouth, how to fast, like how to, what disciplinary, what are you actually working on? Like, when people say I'm working on myself, it's a bunch of bullshit, because you should be able to say the things that you're actually working on instead of saying, oh, I'm working on myself. Like, it's too many blanket terms out here to kind of mask, you know, the lack of discipline and the witchcraft that's happening at the same time. You know what I mean? We just gotta keep these things in mind at all times. When you're moving with Source and the Creator, you're gonna notice the elevation when you're isolated, because things that you already been operating at a higher vibration and frequency. Now you don't have, you know, some kind of latch or levee pulling you backwards or holding you still in place. Now you can just run free, and you realize how far you're going from being in that isolation place, because you were in the process of running this race, but you kept stopping to get water, you kept stopping to every family member you saw that was watching you to wave, you know, you stopped to take pictures, you did all of these things before, but now you got tunnel vision. So now you're just only concerned with finishing the race. And then you have a lot of things that work out in your favor spiritually. You know what I mean? I've seen this happen numerous of times throughout my life, you know. But it gets a little tiresome hearing everybody talking about I went into isolation, you know, because I needed to grow and I needed to learn me and know me. And it's like, I was learning me and knowing me around other beings, because I always understood that I am that being that's in the inside. That voice, that's me. I know how to distinguish my voice from all the other voices that I'm getting, or that may be passing through, or ideas that come through in the vernacular, what is that word I'm trying to say? It starts with it. It doesn't matter. We'll scratch that word. But it comes out in the terms, in the frequency, in the voice that I use within. So I know when I'm getting positive thoughts, good ideas, you know, uplifting things, I know what side that's coming from. When I'm getting stuff to make me feel bad, make me feel guilty, make me feel smaller or littler of myself, make me feel incompetent, make me feel like I'm not enough, I know where that information is coming from. The creator would never relay this kind of information to me. But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.